What are the benefits to the right holder who registers his or her work?
This industry is one that is really misunderstood and probably grossly undervalued. A few years ago, we undertook a study, and but I don't want to quote the figures because they are grossly. They were done in 2009, so we are due for another study. But it showed that at that time, this industry was employing close to 500,000 people, and it was affecting the country in a much bigger way than even agriculture and mining. Yes, and luckily rivaling tourism. So in that way, you can imagine if, for example, if you look at the book sector, the book sector saves this country a lot of foreign exchange. Probably that's why it's probably undervalued. Because if you had to get a book printed and prepared by a foreigner and exported here, you would be paying a price in US dollars. And of course it means that our authors are the ones who are writing books for our children. There's a cultural aspect nobody really understands. So the stories and everything that is told in our schools is authentically Kenyan. So in terms of the economy, I would really say it could be number one. Music is not mainstream, but there are people in this country who've made a life from music and made money, build places, homes, build other businesses for music. Movies are similarly is of course less than music, but it's starting to move to make money. And it's the good thing about copyright, which is really the overarching thing or the effect, is that people always try to push their culture to us. If we don't have our books or music and our movies, we become a net recipient of cultural imperialists.
Why doesn't Kekobo have regional offices countrywide?
Very soon the need to have offices in every other part of the country, which of course under huge budget constraints can sometimes be challenging, is soon going to be, I think, history, in the sense that there are two developments I think that have helped Kekobo still spread its services countrywide. One is the use, for example, of M-Pesa, integrating M-Pesa in terms of payments. In the previous days, you had to go to the bank and pay the bank and bring the receipt, but now you can go through M-Pesa. Alongside that whole digital expansion is that you can scan or email your documents or your data that you're trying to protect through email. We'll receive it electronically and store it electronically as well.
How secure is the work submitted to the board, Kekobo?
The work that is submitted to Kenya Copyright Board is quite secure. It's safe. It's guaranteed. Security is guaranteed in the context that we have a registry which has a cabinet that are secure, and accessibility, they're only accessible. The registry where copyright work is kept is only accessible to the officer who is authorized and who has been vetted by the board to be able to access that. So the work that has been, the works that we have for copyright are secure in our registry, and they're kept safe.
Can copyright be sold?
Copyright can be sold like another property. You can lease, you can assign, you can use it as a collateral to the loan, for the loan in the bank, just like another property. The way you use your land, you can be able to deal with it with copyright in the same manner. Yes.
What happens when the owner of the copyright dies?
When the owner of the copyright dies, the copyright that subsists in his work is transferred to his legal representative. Actually, depending on what the author wanted, how he wanted his work to be used, while it is no more, it will be followed in the same context. The property, like land, like the car, like the house, is used. So it follows the same scenario. That if your work, if the owner of the work has died, the work is transferred to his legal representative or to the person that he has given what we call a will.
Does the law of contract apply in the copyright agreements?
Yes, the law for contract, like when you are doing copyright, you can be able to commercialize your copyright in the sense that it's a property. So when you are doing commercial transactions, the law of contract comes in. So in essence, the law of contract comes in to assist you to manage or to transact with your copyright. So when you are selling your property, you are a copyright, or you are leasing your copyright, or you are transferring your copyright to somebody else, the law of contract comes in to be able to enable the owner of the copyright holder, to come up with terms and conditions that are going to enable him to benefit from the work.
Does the current copyright law apply in the digital environment?
Copyright law, like another law, keeps on changing. As the society keeps on changing, the law also has to change. Currently, we have copyright amendment bill in Parliament, where we have incorporated the provisions of digital environment, which will enable now the board to take into consideration the digital environment and the internet in specific, and how it deals with the issues of copyright works. So with the amendment that is in the House, in Parliament, we can be guaranteed that it's going to address the issues of digital environment and the copyright in general.
What is collective management organizations, CMO?
We have different CMOs that looks at the specific interests. Like let's talk about the issues of CAM, Kenya Association of Music Producers, that takes care of the producers of musical work. So it's their responsibility as a CMO to come in and look at the interest of the music producers. Okay, we have the issues of PRISC, performance PRISC stands for Performance Rights Society of Kenya, okay, which is also there to ensure that it takes care of that particular category of the writer and of others. So the owners of copyright work, depending on what their work is registered, they are performing, they ought to register with a CMO to be able to assist them to correct loyalties on their behalf. Because in the context that you have registered, you have your work, copyright work, you may not be in a position to be able to monitor on how your work is spread, either in TV, in the radio, wherever it is, even in the vernacular radio that we have. So you have those CMOs coming in to be able to correct on your behalf. It actually saves you time.
What is the extent of copyright protection?
Intellectual property rights are national in that respect. Your copyright of a Kenyan work is really administered within Kenya. However, because of the Berne Convention, a copyrighted work in Kenya would be recognized as a copyrighted work and given treatment as a copyrighted work outside of Kenya in other Berne member countries.
What is the difference between copyright and patents?
Patents relate specifically to advances in areas of technology. They cover intellectual property around technical solutions or solutions to technical problems, and are examined for substance by the Kenya Industrial Property Institute and must comply with laws such as being novel and inventive and useful. Whereas copyright relates to works of art and other creative works. Generally, there is no examination of copyright, they're automatically granted, provided that it meets some minimal qualifications, those being that the work is fixed, in tangible form, that the work has some level of originality, and that it falls within the subject matter of copyright. So copyright and patents generally cover very different items, the only exception being software, which can often be covered by both.